Welcome to Predict Your Business, where I help entrepreneurs grow their business in a predictable way. My name is Samuel Genus.
And my name is Sharon Genus. And today we're going to be talking about building a family business that lasts. So Sam, why a family business?
A family business, one, because it gives us freedom. It gives us convenience. You know, you're not bound by someone else's timetable. Gives us convenience. There's no cap. There's no income cap. You're not paid what someone says you're worth. You're not paid based upon what someone wants to pay you. You know, your income becomes determined by how much you want to put into it. So there's no cap.
Right.
Why a family business? Because one, you know, I want to build a legacy. I want to build something that outlives me. I want to build something that makes my children's lives easier. My grandkids' lives, now and later, right? You know, we want to build immediate wealth, and we want to build long-term wealth. You know, and I think it's also a contribution we need to make in the Black community. We need wealth in our community, and a family business is the way to do that. So, you know, but in the beginning, there's a selfish reason, right? It's, you know, I'm thinking about my wife, I'm thinking about my kids, I'm thinking about my grandkids, I'm thinking about my great-grandkids. I'm thinking about the opportunities that I want them to have.
Right. The freedom. I love the freedom.
Yeah. So it's bigger than me. It's a family. For me, a family business is not selfish at all. It's big enough. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than our kids. And so that's my why.
Yeah.
You know, that's my why. I want to be able to make a contribution to my community, to the world. And I think this is one of the best ways to do it. Yeah. You know?
I think it's awesome building a family business, a business that lasts, because it grows. Everything grows over time. The income grows. It's just no cap on it. Like you said, there's no limit. The freedom is just excellent. Like you can just, you know, you can prolong a vacation. You can schedule a vacation.
You can make money while you're on vacation.
Right. It's just like, it's unbelievable. So that's what I love about having a family business. It's just convenient in every way.
The other thing too is kind of interesting. It's, you know, when you build wealth and you create a family business, you're securing your future. You know, of course, none of us are God, so we can't fix everything.
Right.
But it definitely positions you to be secure in more ways than one.
Yeah.
You know, and it positions you to be salvation to so many other people. You know, it's like being able to walk, you know, down the street or whatever, and somebody's car broke down, being able to offer them a job, being able to just fix, you know, call somebody and have their car fixed or towed and fixed and paid for, being able to give somebody a job, being able to help a homeless person, being able to make a contribution to a nonprofit organization, being able to build, you know, a group home or a men's shelter or a women's shelter. You know, it's people with money who's doing this stuff. You know what I mean? A lot of people may start it. A lot of poor people may start it, but it's the rich people who fund it. You know, and I want to be one of those people who fund it.
Excellent. So detecting the visionary, what does that even mean?
Yeah, so in every family, and I strongly believe this, in every family, there's a visionary. The word visionary comes from the root word vision. These are men or women, boys or girls, who are able to see things that other people can't see.
Right.
They don't have to be taught it. You know, they're a visionary. They're creative. Their imagination is different. Their thinking, you know, it's like they always asking why, like why not, like why can't we, like, you know, what's beyond that?
Yeah.
You know, they're very curious people. I would go as far as say that they are, I would even think there's some supernatural stuff going on. Even in the Bible, you look at, Abraham was a visionary, but his vision was given by a supreme being. You look at Jacob had 12 kids in the Bible. He had 12 sons, but one of his sons was a visionary, which is Joseph, and I believe that within every family, it may not always be in your immediate family, but if you just look at your ancestry, somebody in your ancestry is a visionary.
Right.
Now, we don't know, some visionaries get assassinated, some visionaries, they just give up. Some visionaries just, life takes over and they give up on the vision that they saw. They see things that other people didn't see. And so I think in every family there's one. There's probably even more than one. And I think it's important for us to be able to detect them. It could be your husband who's a visionary. It could be your wife who's a visionary. It could be your children, your grandchildren, your aunt, your uncle, who could be the visionary. It's even possible that your friend could be the visionary.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That you hanging out.
Stick around long enough, they'll pick up and they'll be like, oh, I like that. And then they'll adopt the idea. And before you know it, they're running with it.
Yeah. And most of the time it's like, the visionary, like I said, the visionary, the things they see are bigger than them. And so when you attach yourself to a visionary, you're actually making your life better.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're actually making your life better by attaching yourself to them, because oftentimes these visionaries, they're seeing things on a much bigger scale. They're seeing things beyond what most average people see. You know what I mean? Like most average people are thinking a job, thinking a 9 to 5, and they may even be thinking a business, but thinking a very small level business. Visionary is like, they're seeing communities. They're looking at the trees, and they automatically see a subdivision. They see, they'll make a lake when there is no lake.
Wow. Yeah.
Like they're building communities. They're making cures for diseases. It's like they're building bridges over lakes. I mean, somebody just built a bridge, I forget where it is, in Norway or Sweden somewhere. They built a bridge from one mountaintop to another mountaintop. Like, who does that? It's just so that people don't have to go all the way down the mountain through the valley and then come back up. That one bridge saves people a 4-hour hike. And so a visionary, they're special. I think they're even a godsend. I think it's possible that I can be praying for something, you can be praying for something, but God may bless our son with the vision to answer our prayers. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we have to be able to detect who that visionary is in our family.
Have to pay attention to them. Got to pay attention to them, because they're God sent, like you said, and they have something to share that's very important. So we really have to pay attention. Can't downplay it. And it reminds me of how you were talking about Abraham. I'm reminded of Joseph in the Bible. How the father didn't show Joseph with all the other children. He showed everyone else, but he didn't show Joseph, and Joseph was the one. Not Joseph.
You're talking about David,
Yeah, David was the one.
He was the anointed one, right?
Right, So it's very important to detect the visionary, pay attention. And then when we're moving on to the influencing, the detecting the visionary, then you have to be able to influence your family. Influence those.
Yeah, and that's a struggle. I mean, because, like, I'm a visionary, but I have not always done a good job at communicating.
You tried.
I tried, but I wasn't, I wasn't good at it. I think I'm learning how to get better. I'm becoming better at it now.
You just have so much in you, so much.
Yeah, but
it's hard to intake all of it as a person. Period.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the visionary has to be able to communicate, right?
Yeah.
So you can have a vision Vision has to do with your eyes. Communication has to do with your mouth and your heart. Now, how do you translate what you see into words that other people who can't see what you see it and get behind it with all the other stuff that they're seeing in their life?
Right.
You know?
Right.
And, it's like, hey, come follow me. Meanwhile, they already have a life. They already got stuff that they're doing. How do you communicate that? Because you can't force them. You can't make them. You can't threaten them. So now it's like, how do you communicate what you see to get buy-in? And that's a real challenge.
It is.
Being able to communicate that. I would even go as far as to say that if you're not a visionary, you really don't know how complicated that is. However, what you do know is the challenge of being able to receive a visionary. Like me being a visionary and you not, at least not in this area, right? You really don't know how complicated it is for me to communicate that. Yet at the same time, I don't fully know how complicated it is for you to see what I see.
Yeah, as you're talking about it, I'm thinking, because a visionary, the influencer is actually interrupting other people's lives. Just like spreading the gospel, if we got to go there. You're interrupting people's lives and just sharing, look, this is the way you should go. And this is how I see it.
And you use the word interrupt because you're not the visionary.
Right. Yeah.
It's viewed as interruption. It's viewed two different ways. You see it as interruption, but a person who has the cure for cancer doesn't see it as they're interrupting people's lives. They're like, hey, you need this.
Yeah. And they're like, thank you. Yes.
Well, actually, the person may not be like,
cancer,
thank you. Well, it depends. Because a visionary is seeing it before it's done.
Okay.
A visionary, you don't need vision after something has been built. You don't need a vision for the cure of cancer once the cure of cancer has been completed. A visionary sees the cure or is working on the cure 10, 20, 30 years before it's even done.
Okay.
That's what they're trying to communicate.
Right.
See, it's easy to communicate something that's done.
Right.
Because let's be honest, right?
Before it's done.
Most people who are not entrepreneurs, where do they get work at? At companies that already exist.
Right.
A visionary is trying to create that company. So an employee, they're like, they're not working they're not coming to McDonald's when it first started.
Right.
They're just like, hey, what's that? No one's thinking about Walmart and its infancy stages. No one's thinking about, your family business, your idea.
Right.
Now, when you build it, and it's making, 10, 20, 30, $50 million a year, 10, 20, 30, $50 million a month, it's going to be easy to get people to join. But you don't really need that many people to join at that point, right? You need, look how many people wants to move to America now. Yeah. Because look how great it is.
Yeah.
But how many people was trying to get here 400 years ago? You know what I mean? When there was no bridges, there was no roads, there was no internet, there was no electricity, there was no military, there was none of this stuff was here.
Right.
You know what I mean? There was no phones and cable and satellite radio. None of this stuff existed.
Right.
So it's easy to join something, to buy into something after it has been built.
Right.
No one would consider that an interruption.
Right.
But it's at the infancy stages, and a visionary is at the infancy stages, and now he or she is trying to influence people at the infancy stage, at ground zero.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's why it's difficult.
And that's why it's difficult for a visionary to influence other people who can't see it. And that's where we have to learn. So if you're a visionary, if you're the one who has the business idea, your challenge is going to be, how do I communicate that effectively to my spouse? How do I communicate that effectively to my children?
Right.
How do I communicate that effectively to my cousins, my brothers, my sisters, my aunts, my uncle, because they can't, like, how do you influence a blind person?
Wow.
You see something, but they can't see it. Now you have to communicate it in such a way that they can see it in their mind.
Right.
Yeah. Like, that's basically what you're doing. So from now on, when you are speaking to your spouse or your children or whoever it is, understand that they're blind. Mm-hmm. Yes, they have eyes, but they don't see what you see. Mm-hmm. So don't call them stupid. Don't make fun of them. You have to understand that they literally can't see it.
Right.
Right? They can't see it. Right? Mm-hmm. And so now it's like, how do I speak to them in such a way where their eyes begin to come open and they see it?
Right.
You know, and that's, you know, it's very, very hard.
Right.
Very,
it's a challenge,
very, very hard.
But it's very important because you have to make them love it so that you can get the support from them, from those people.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Which leads us into supporting the vision, because you can't support something that you don't love. Well, you can, but you won't really give it your all.
Yeah, it's like there has to be some kind of buy-in.
Yeah.
You know, there has to be some kind of buy-in. Like, why should I support this vision? How do I support a vision that I can't see?
Right. And
so
how do you even do that? Because you can't even see it. So you won't even have the direction of where to go with it unless the influencer.
Well, that's the first step. You have to see it first.
Right.
You can't support something you can't see.
Right.
Right. That's like, you know, that's like trying to get to a destination and you don't even know what the destination is.
Exactly.
How do you get there? Mm-hmm. Right. So it's important that a person can't support a vision that they don't understand, that they can't see. That's why influencing your family, influencing the people you want, even your business, even partners, right? You want to get partners into your business. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to first influence them before they give you $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 to invest in your business.
Right.
So you got to be good at making business plans. You got to be good at making PowerPoint presentations. You got to be good at drawing the vision, answering whatever questions that come up,
right?
Being able to explain the benefits of the vision and why they should buy into it. You know what I mean? Explain to them, like, hey, these are the struggles you're going through now, but this vision will help solve some of those struggles, or these some of the pain points you have now. But hey, this vision that I have, it will alleviate those pain points, and this is how, this is why, this is what we can do to alleviate that. And then as people begin to see that, that's why every good CEO is a good communicator. Right? They're a good communicator. They either went to Toastmasters or something. They're able to communicate the vision. And then once you're able to influence people, I actually want to say one more thing on the influence. I want to say something about diligence. Some of you out there, you're trying to get your spouse to get on board. You're trying to get your children to get on board. And you're trying to get other people in your life to get on board. And sometimes the best way to get people, it's not, you know, this is not always the best answer, but sometimes it is the best answer. Sometimes the best way to get people on board is to show them. You know, it's like, sometimes you got to be making money before you can convince people that they can make money, right? You know, you have to be doing it, and they need to see you doing it. They need to see you making progress in it. Even if it's slow progress, even if it's a little bit of progress, the whole point is sometimes you need to be diligent at just making progress. You know, say, hey, you know what? Before I go to this person or that person, I'll tell them what I'm doing, but I'm not going to like try to, you know, let me first get some experience under my belt. Let me get some testimonials under my belt. Let me get some sales under my belt. Let me make some money. And then I can come back to them and say, hey, look, I've been making $6,000 a month with this thing, or I've been making $2,000 a month with this thing. With your help, I can get it up to $12,000 a month. With your help, I can get it up to $24,000 a month. With your help, we can get it up to $1 million a month, right?
Right.
You know, but sometimes you have to show something, because here's one thing about people who are not visionaries. They can see what's already built. This is the reason why so many people work a 9 to 5. They work a 9 to 5 because they could see it.
Right. Good.
They know they're getting a paycheck this coming Friday.
Right.
They can see it. There's no risk. There's no hoping. There's no, well, am I going to get it? Am I not? It's like everything is like laid out. It's like they can see the building.
Is this going to last?
They can see, They don't even know if it's going to last. You know what I mean? Because people do get laid off. Business do go under.
I say that because the building, the company's been in business for over 20 years or so.
Yeah,
so it's been lasting. That's
they don't question whether or not they're going to get a salary, but now lately people are questioning whether or not this business is going to be here 5-10 years from now. But none of them are really questioning whether or not they're going to get paid this week, paid next week, those kind of things. You don't really. If you're working for McDonald's, you know you're getting a paycheck on Friday. Right. You know what I mean? If you're working for a bank, you know you're going to get paid. If you're working for a factory, you know you're going to get paid. And what the visionary doesn't have. A visionary doesn't have all of the infrastructure in place to provide those salaries every week. Now you need volunteers, not employees, right? Yeah. And now you got to communicate that. You got to communicate that. Okay, so you want your husband to support your business, but you're not going to pay him. You know what I mean? You want your wife to support your business, but you're not going to offer her a salary because you can't afford one.
So it can be done.
Yeah, and so how do you get buy-in, right? Especially when you have immediate needs, you have bills to pay, you got mouths to feed, you know, you got little just perks that you want in your life. You know, you want to get your nails, you want to get your hair done, you want to get your feet done, you want massages, you want whatever it is. You want vacation every 6 months, right? When you're starting a business, when you're the visionary, you see bigger things in your future. You just don't see them right now.
And I say it could be done because I think of pastors, when they're in their building stages, you know, they get the people to buy into what they're doing.
Well, they're influencers.
Yeah, they're great influencers. Yeah. And these people follow them from the ground up. Yeah. And they help them to get things done. Yeah. So most of them are volunteers. Yeah, they're not getting paid at all.
Now, here's the good part. A better part, because if pastors can do that with their constituents, it should be a little bit easier because there's a payday coming. You know, you're like, hey, we're building a business. Right. You should start getting. You should be getting paid at least a year from now,
right?
Or 18 months from now. You should be. You know, you should see a couple of $1,000s a week coming into your bank account, right?
Exactly.
As opposed to with a lot of churches, you're just waiting for Jesus to come back, and you're gonna get rewarded in the Bible. But that's normally the case in a religious, you know what I mean? Yeah. In a religious setting, it's like, hey, I'm just volunteering, and I get my reward when Jesus comes. Yeah. You know, maybe Jesus will touch my boss and give me a raise or something like that. Or for those of you who play the lottery, you know, you might be like, hey, well, Jesus might make me hit the lottery because I helped this church. Yeah. But from a business perspective, you know, you are offering people a chance to make money. Right. There's no hot in here. There's no you don't have anything up your sleeve. No. You're writing everything out. Right. And so I think it should be easier for you to get people to buy in as opposed to churches and nonprofit organizations because you're in it for the money. Right. And a lot of people want to make money. Yeah. You just have to tell the right story, give the right presentation. So influencing your family is going to be important. Right. Once you get them, then they would be willing to, you know, support the vision, you know. And I think that's just finding your place. So even though you may have a vision, like now it's like, okay, how do where does everybody fit in? You know, what do they do? You know what I mean? Like, what role do they play? Because you may be the visionary, but not the strategist. Right. You know?
And sometimes a visionary does know what role they need someone to play, and they can see that person playing a role. So that person that they come to, if you're that person, you have to be open-minded if you care and if you want to be a part of this growing thing that's going on. Yeah. So you know, to those that are that the visionary is speaking to, you know, and sharing your direction and stuff, you have to, you know, just be open-minded. And I know because sometimes it's scary and it's a little frustrating, and it's not in your
comfort zone.
Yeah, your comfort zone
area
at all.
of expertise.
Right, yeah. So you got to stretch a little bit.
You're going to learn something.
Yeah, you got to learn and, just stretch yourself and see where it goes. And you'll be amazed. You may be amazed. You may not be. I think you will be, though.
Yeah, growing, when you're starting a family business, you're going to learn so many different skills, as many of you probably already know. And you're going to learn so much about yourself. You're going to learn so much about your wife, your husband, your children. But I think the why is what keeps you pressing through.
If you get that why together,
it's what helps you press through, because you're going to have disagreements. You're going to have times where you're furious. You're going to have times where you're upset. And the reason why I could say this, and now I'm only speaking from my perspective. My wife has a different perspective, because I'm seeing things that she doesn't see, which means I will feel certain types of pain that she won't feel. But the reality is, we're both seeing something and we're both feeling something.
Right.
Now, how do we get that all there's a little bit of a mystery there, right?
And that's another show.
And it's like we have to be able to communicate that.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, this is the why. You're like, okay, yeah, I know this is why, and I know this is coming 5 years from now, but what about today?
Right.
Right. And we're gonna get into that a little bit when we talk about the survival side of it all. But supporting the vision, you have to be able to find your place, and then you have to help others find their place in the vision.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because some people want to help you, they just don't know how. And so you have to help them know how to help you.
You have to, because remember, you're the visionary and they're not. They don't. They have no clue.
They just coming in as a helper.
They have no clue. So tell me what to do. If you tell me what to do, I'll do it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Now there's a quote. I had this on here. There's a quote that Grant Cardone said. He told his wife. He said, "Hey, I would do anything for you." He said, "But I will not give up on my goals and dreams." And I thought that was very profound, because and he's speaking as a visionary. You know what I mean? He's speaking as a visionary, and to be clear, most visionaries will not give up their goals, but they will acquire others to do it.
Oh, wow!
I need to break that down, because it's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
A visionary will most of the time, unless they just fell out and just gave up, they won't give up their goal. Why? They believe that much in that vision.
They do.
I mean, that's like asking Martin Luther King to give up his dream.
Yeah.
He's not going to do that. He's like, look, even if I die, I'm taking this vision to my grave. I'm going to pursue this. You know what I mean? I'm going to pursue this because it's bigger than him. Right. It's like a call upon his life. And so visionaries, they have like that. It's like a divine call upon your life. And it's not something you take lightly. And it's not something that you just give up just because you met a woman, or just because you met a man, or just because you had a child, or just because you turned a certain age, or just because whatever.
Like you're miserable if they're not doing it.
Yeah, they're miserable.
And they'll make your life miserable.
Their life, it's almost like their life is not even worth living at that point. Yet at the same time, they would be like, stop what you're doing and come help me. Now check this out. What person will have that much audacity to do that? Someone who has a vision so big that if you give up on that, you're going to be rewarded greatly. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like they will make it worth your time. Wow. They will make it worth your sacrifice. So a lot of people's like, you want me to give up this? Yeah, and you're going to get 50 times as much in return. Or you can keep doing what you're doing and keep what you got. Yeah. Or you can join me
and get more.
And I give you, 10 times, 50 times, 30 times more than what you currently have, what you will ever get in your lifetime. That's a visionary. You see what I'm saying? And that's the way. So for all those of you who are out there who are visionaries, you have to, you have to grab a hold to that, and you have to be able to communicate that.
Right.
I was listening to Grant Cardone. He told his wife, he says, typically, he said this on the first time he spoke to her. He says, typically, people who hang around me, their life gets better. And she thought that was just the most arrogant thing a man could say. She said, but she realized that he actually wasn't gaming me. He was actually telling the truth.
Wow.
He's like, people who get around him, their lives get so much better.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's the way a visionary thinks. A visionary is like, look, stop what you're doing, come help me. Because the people who help me, this vision is that great that you're going to look back at your life and you're going to be like, man, why didn't I join him sooner? Why didn't I join her sooner? So that those are visionaries. So for those of you who are out there who's a visionary, rejoice, be happy, but prepare yourself. Because you got a long haul in front of you. You got to be able to communicate that. Everybody's not going to see it. You're going to definitely need some patience.
Yes.
You're going to need some long suffering. And you're going to have to learn how to communicate. You're going to have to learn how to communicate. You're going to have to learn how to be humble. You're going to have to learn how to give people time, you know?
Yep. And then there's that transition period. Transitioning to what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the time it takes. It's not going to happen overnight.
No.
Like when I told you my ideas, it ain't like you was like, yeah, okay, let's do it.
No, man. No.
You had questions. You had like, yeah, but why? And it's like, and we still have our struggles. We still have our conversations. And I actually still think we're still in our transition period. I think we're further along than where we were, but I think we're still in that transition period. There's a level of trust that you're growing in. There's even a level of independence that you're growing in. There's a level of certainty that you're growing into. We're not there yet, and we've been married for 19 years.
Right, yeah.
So the transition period is not easy. It's not short, Some of you may have people in your lives where they're like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And
it just flows.
And it just flows. And then you don't know how difficult the vision is. You don't know how difficult, you have a vision, but hey, is this a 2-year vision, 5-year vision, 10-year vision? So you can just imagine how difficult the transition process might be. And in that transition process, you're going to need patience, long suffering, kindness, and a lot of tissue, because you will cry. You may not cry in front of people, but you will cry by yourself. And I'm doing a lot of talking on the visionary side, but what are some of the pains and hurts or aha moments you felt on your side? Because I can only speak for me. It's hard for me. It's like, what was you feeling when I'm like, okay, let's do this, let's do that? What were the concerns? What were the doubts? What were the fears? What were the me asking you to give up things?
Well, it's a lot. I can definitely relate. The more I cried, the more I would think about you crying. How hard is it for you? Trying to even give me this and to even disrupt our lives, what we have going on. You were in a great position all the time, all the years of our marriage, making good money. I was always happy and I was always at home, I never really had to work outside of the home. We lived off of your salary. Everything's always been great. And then for you always had this vision. You always had this entrepreneur thing going on from day one. I knew it,
I was not the corporate dude.
Never.
Had the corporate money, but wasn't the corporate dude.
The corporate money, he could make money, and he can even get freedom as far as working from home.
And all that, yeah. It wasn't enough.
It's just like, what do you want? My goodness.
But why?
So, it's definitely, it's hard, because that's what makes it hard for me, because of what we always had. We always had the nice houses. We always had the nice cars. We always had health insurance. We always had everything. And we it's crazy because we still have those things, but it's not, I'm depending on, we're depending on us to make these things happen. It's not corporate America, is going to not provide those things as we work. It's given, but now we're the ones doing it.
Right.
And so yeah, it's definitely hard. And then when you involve me, that's a whole nother thing, is because it's like
she got work. She got work. Work.
And this dude working to death.
No, I'm gonna work you to life. I ain't gonna work you to death. God. I ain't gonna kill you.
He gonna kill me.
No, I ain't gonna kill you.
He gonna make me learn this. He gonna make me figure that out, and he gonna get mad at me if I don't. No, it's just like I have to come up to a certain level now, and it's just like, wow. I was doing this, I was comfortable here, and I was, doing my thing, taking care of the kids. I got comfortable in that, and now it's just like,
now you got to write articles.
I need you over here. I need you to do this. You got to write
articles, got to make sales calls. Got to schedule appointments.
Oh, boy. So,
build marketing funds.
Okay. Yeah, I'm working, y'all. It's not, it's and that's the thing. So you just have to adjust yourself in these areas. Whatever it is, whatever the vision that your husband has for you, you have to find your way in it and adjust yourself in it. And then there's always like, am I doing right? Am I doing good? Am I doing enough? Is it helping him? Is this taking the business to the next level? Sometimes you're scared to even ask. You don't want to know because scary, especially when you got a husband like I do. This man, he don't hold back.
Alpha male.
He gonna let you know. And then that's another time I'll go crying somewhere in a corner. He didn't see all the stuff I done did, all the sacrifices I made, and the heartache and the pain. No, but it's just like
preach. Go let it out, man.
And he gonna talk to me like that. You don't want me to preach, no. So then I gotta.
Look, no looky for you. I'm mad.
Shoot. So then I gotta pick myself back up and be like, okay, so that wasn't good enough? All right, so what do I gotta do now? But I already done cried over there, and I already done punched him, went in my car and kicked and prayed and said, God, where are you? But, you gotta pick yourself back up. It's just the struggles, but, you do reap along the way. We still do vacations. We can be on vacation and we can prolong the vacation because of this vision. So those things I appreciate. We can make money, like he said, on vacation. It's just like it's so much that it's a negative, but then there's always two positives. It could be a positive, one negative. It's just
the positive have to outweigh the negative. If it doesn't, then to me, it's not a vision. It's not a vision you should even pursue. If the positive doesn't outweigh the negatives, then it's not even. It's not. To me, it's a bad vision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a bad vision.
It definitely has to be up here with the positives and the negatives here. You have to see the positives, and so that you can snap back.
Right.
You got to be able to snap back, and then see. Then you can see the vision. Oh, okay. Once we get past this, then we'll be good here. And then we just got to get past that, and then we'll be even better there. So we're always growing. Keep growing. Keep going with the vision. Keep taking it to the next level. Don't go back.
Yeah, and this last step is the last point we want to make is detours are allowed. Detours are allowed. The destination is the same. The vision has not changed, but the strategy is you must be flexible. I mean, look, some of you may have to get a part-time job. This is why I don't have anything against people who work from a 9 to 5. Look, I plan on hiring people from 9 to 5. So if you want a job, of course.
Right, yeah.
Right? But if you have to work a part-time job,
make it work.
That doesn't mean you've changed on your vision. That just means you had to take a detour. It's just like when you're driving in the car and you have to, there's a roadblock. You're still trying to get to your destination. You just have to now go some other routes, and you got to take a back road or whatever. So detours are allowed. If you have to take a break, you may need to take a break, you know what I mean? And regroup yourself. You may need some counseling. You may need to, like I said, work a part-time job. You may need to get a full-time job. You may need to go back to school to learn a few things. Yeah. You may need, watch this, you may need to stop your business. Put it on pause. Go to college. Make some decent 9 to 5 money. Save that money, so that you can now start your business with the proper resources. Right. Because some of you are trying to start a business and you don't have enough money.
No budget.
So therefore,
you stress yourself out.
Yeah, you may need to be like, let me stack up some paper first. Let me go get a 9 to 5. Let me downsize. Let me get a smaller apartment or a smaller house. Let me sell this house and get a smaller house or whatever. And let me use this funds to build this business the right way. Right. It's just a detour. It doesn't mean you've given up on your vision. It doesn't mean you're a loser or whatever. It just means that, wait a second, you're counting up the costs, and you're realizing you need to make some adjustments.
And that's wise. Yeah. It's wisdom.
So it's just knowing when to make those adjustments. Detours are allowed. You may have to make some adjustments. You may have to take some detours. At the end of the day, you got to survive. Right. So you got to do whatever you got to do to survive. Everything within reason, everything within logic, everything within godliness and righteousness. You have to do it to survive. And if that means putting certain things on hold, if it means selling something, if it means downsizing, if it means getting another job, if it means creating a different marketing funnel, if it means writing a different type of an email, if it means giving up this product and creating a different product, detours are allowed. Right. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to build a business. You don't necessarily have to be married to a specific product or service. You can always change your business model. Detours are allowed. Right.
They are allowed, and don't downplay the detour. Saying, see, I knew this wasn't going to work. I knew this wasn't right. And this wasn't the thing. No.
Yeah, don't ridicule it when someone changes their mind.
Right. It's allowed.
You'd be amazed how many times business owners change their mind, change their business name, change their product. Yeah. You don't even know about it because you only see the finished product. Yeah. You don't know all the decisions they made, all the mistakes they made, all the times they changed their pricing, changed their product, changed their service, changed their business name, paid a few fines to the government.
How many businesses they had. When you really sit down and talk to an entrepreneur, it's like they knew they had to be in business. Right.
Just didn't know which business to be
so
into.
they try all these different things, and then eventually they got the one. So that's normal. Exactly. So detours are allowed. That's just the nature of an entrepreneur. Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. We went a little bit over our time, but we don't care. We're just here sipping on some wine and having some good conversation about business and stuff like that, and marriage and whatnot, and building a family business that lasts. You want your business to outlive you. Like you want your business, you want to be able to pass your business down to your children. Pass it down to your children's children. You want to build a legacy. Right. And the way to do that, you have to know your why. You have to be able to detect the visionary within your family or even among your friends. Which one is the visionary? Because whoever had that vision, you need to attach yourself to him or her. Yeah. You want to be able to influence your family. If you're a visionary, you need to be able to communicate that to your wife, to your husband, to your children, to your cousins, nephews, mothers, fathers, partners, friends. You have to be able to influence them. So you got to become better at communication. You have to become good at making presentations, PowerPoint presentations, whatever you got to do, Visio diagrams, video presentations. You got to, even the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain. Right? Sometimes you got to be diligent. Sometimes you got to make a little bit of money first, make a few sales, show people that, hey, this is a viable thing, and then use that to convince others to join. And then, for those of you who may not be a visionary, you have to support the vision. Right. Find your place in that vision. And if you are the visionary, you have to be able to explain to others how to find their place. What role should they do? And you may even have to make adjustments because maybe they're doing this role this week or next week, but now you need to switch up and have them do something else that's all required. Even as Grant Cardone says, look, hey, honey, I do everything for you, but I'm not about to give up on my dreams and my visions, because if I give up on my goals and my aspirations, I'm giving up who I am as an individual, and what I have is bigger than me. What I have will benefit me, benefit you, benefit the kids, and for me to give that up, I'll be giving up even on the people I love. And so we can't do that. There's also a transition period. You want to be able to give your family and the loved ones and the people you're doing this for, you got to give them room and chance to make the transition. Don't be upset if they're not your cheerleader overnight. Don't be upset if they're not rooting you, and all that, what I mean? That can be painful, but you have to give them time to breathe. You have to give them time to make that transition. You still got to keep pushing the sales pitch. You got to still influence, but you got to give them time to make that transition. And then finally, detours are allowed. The vision is the same, but the strategy may change. The directions may be adjusted. Right. You're allowed to do that. Don't beat yourself up. Don't jump off on a cliff. Don't think you're a loser. Detours are allowed. And even when you make a detour, for those of you who may not be the visionary, don't be upset when the visionary changes their mind. Right. Hey, that goes with the flow. Sometimes you have to make changes sometimes you have to move backwards in order to move forward, And so it doesn't mean you failed. It just means that's a learning lesson, and it's time for you to make an adjustment so you can move forward much faster. All right, so that's it for today, this episode, Predict Your Business. Subscribe to us, fill out the form below or whatever, hit subscribe, hit like, whatever. Join us because we want you to stay informed. We care about you. We want your business to succeed. We want our business to succeed as well. And I think that's it. Oh, yeah. Any last words?
Support the vision from woman to woman. Support the vision, support your husband, and just be encouraged, stick with it. Learn what you got to learn and just go with the flow.
You heard the woman.
Talk to me. Reach out to me if you
can. Call her up. She'll be a psychiatrist. Don't call me. Call her.
Call me. Don't call him.
Y'all take it easy.
Bye.